Not a good choice.
You've got to make it. Because it's a sitting duck.
Got somebody he's a bit lucky here, which I'm not going to get. Yeah, there you go. Should have moved that one.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't know what the next roll of the die is.
Yeah, I know what it is. It's going to be rubbish.
I've still got a man on that. I moved him once. Game with no name because they don't know what the name is anymore.
Oh, right.
And it is a game combination of skill and luck because of course you've got they're four-sided die. And the roll of the die lets you know, because we start off with one side with the white, one side with the black, and you can only turn one over to a cross if you roll a double.
It's not unusual for a game not to have a name, because games always have a name, don't they?
Well, it used to have one. People remember how to play it, and how it looks and everything like that. It's just as time went on, they forgot what it was called. Like, there's no record of what it was actually called.
Yeah, so people just...
No, we got playing them over again.
It's a dragon.
Yeah.
That just sits in there. Then you have just a little pouch with the pieces in. So on your downtime, when you're actually at war at night, you can actually play things like this.
Yeah, because they take virtually no room.
Yeah. And all it is these are just marked out with the moves. This game's called Alquerque, it's a forerunner of checkers. And this one you move along the lines. They play things like Nine Man's Morris in that period as well. That's where the start of that was. And a few other games like that. This one is a solitaire game. But that would have been harder to carry because it's wood.
Yeah.
As with this. So they would have been more likely to take a leathered version because, as I say, that fits perfectly in the pouch. Yeah.
It will last a long time.
Yeah, they do. Well, this one is itself, we've had this for about 15 years.
Ooh, it's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah. So they mark it out in whatever way they can mark it out.
It proves that they're much better than today's computers games, put this way. You get more fun with them. You don't have to have electric with them.
And the thing is that you can get competitive with any game, of course. And if you're on a camp with a bunch of soldiers, you can imagine that they would have been laying bets on who was going to win. This one, the reason why we're playing this is because my brain is not working today, so I'm no good at Alquerque.
What year was this, would you say?
Pardon?
What year?
This one, Alquerque
that's 14th century, from 14th century French game.
And there's evidence of this one from about the 11th, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so about the 11th century. So that was used for centuries. Yeah. Because you'll find a lot of things would have evolved and everything like that. It's like the clothing. The dress I'm wearing, the pattern has evolved in slightly different forms. Like you have a sleeve down here in different eras, or you'd have lacing down the front. So things would change just a lot like today when things change really quickly. That could take a couple of hundred years. So things would stay popular for quite a long period of time.
Yeah. So is the rules confusing about that game though?
No, this one's really easy. So basically, you start with black down one side, white down one side. You roll each to see who goes first. Highest roll goes first, and then you have to roll a double to open a man. So once you, because the men all start like that. Once you roll the double, you have to open the first man out. You turn it, so that's one move, and if you'd rolled 5, like a 6, you'd move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because you used your first move. But you don't have to open a man if you don't want to. If you can take a man down here in an already open man, you can actually do that, so you're not restricted to having to open anything up. So, and basically you just keep going until either somebody concedes or gets the last man taken. Usually we end up conceding unless he gets really stubborn and decides, I'm not going down, I only have one man and I'm just keeping on going. Which he does do. But you would have found on camp, if they were playing things like that and you're in that situation, you could technically still, if you got the right roll of the dice, still win with one man when the other guy's got 4. It's just the right roll of the dice. So if there's money on the game from the rest of the soldiers, you keep going.
Go on for hours then. Hours and hours.
We actually have, I think we've had one go for about an hour and a half. Yeah. Yeah, we have. I think it was the first or second one. And now we're getting a bit more tactical. And I think it's like any game. If you don't know the tactics, it's going to take you longer unless the other person does, and then they just annihilate you. But, and when you think about it, of course, with most of these games, they're all about tactics. And of course, when you're doing warfare, it's all about tactics, like chess. Chess, checkers, drafts, all tactics. So this sort of way keep the mind sharp while you weren't able to actually fight.
It's interesting to see the dice is oblong instead of the round square dice, isn't it?
Because dice have evolved in all sorts of ways, but you still have the square
Numbers.
dice. You still, because we do have some bone dice that are square dice. And so they had all sorts of dice made from bone, from wood, and all different shapes. Yeah.
So it's a confusing game, don't it? You'd had to have, I mean, it took a long, long time to explain the rules of it. I can't understand chess. I'm not good at chess. I tried it, it's just confusing me, chess.
Yeah.
Drafts, yes, chess. No.
So you'd be good at it with Alquerque then, because it's a forerunner of drafts.
I'll tell you what, I'll concede.
A new chess, an older version of chessboard.
Yeah, so that's a Byzantine. So you see, chess evolved. It's like have to have all. You've got
Did you have one before then?
Yeah, there's multiple different types, and we've only just discovered this one ourselves, to be honest. And one of our other archers has been playing it with Andy, who is a trainee archer, basically.
That looked like a confusing game already.
Well, the thing, I've not played it yet, so I can't say much about it. But you set it up similarly, but you've got your sides. So white is on one side and black is on the other. And if you set that side up, Andy, see, he's still learning it. But you have your pawns go on each side, and then, and I always put the king on the wrong side on whatever twist.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's the queen. No, that's the king.
That's the king, yeah.
Stop knocking over pieces. So bishops are together,
Yeah.
rooks are together, and the horses are together. And basically the moves are the same, except you're going around the board. And so if you're like, the bishop, you can go from one end of the board basically to the other. Of course now you can't do that because you can only go that many spaces and then up to there, and then so it actually halves what the bishop can do. They still do all the same directions, the same moves, so the knights still jump and still do the L shape. But it also means that if you're in a position, if you can keep both your rooks, and you have one on one line and one on another, and you've got the king on check in this one, the king's checkmate unless there's something, if you've got it clear. So if you say had your king, his king was here, you do check mate, because there's nothing in between. He can't move forward, he can't move back, either way. And this guy, he could be over here. If there's, he could be over there. If there's nothing here, he's still in checkmate, even if you're in the whole other side of the board. Depends on what direction it is. That's how Andy won a game last night. Yeah. But he is still learning. Do you want to have a go at it?
Yeah. I couldn't understand the basic of chess. I couldn't understand that one.
But
It's a nice, interesting setup, though, isn't it? To,
what is it different? No, you've got your knights in the wrong place.
Yeah,
You've
looks
got your
like.
knights in the wrong place. What are you doing? The knights always go next to the rooks.
Trying to confuse you as what it is.
He plays chess more than I do. I was in chess club as a kid. He wasn't, and I stopped playing chess when I was a kid. He didn't. He kept playing.
What's that one called? Just chess?
It is
Byzantine chess.
Is it Byzantine chess?
Yeah.
Oh, your name Mary's.
It was basically after the era. It really is, and it's the Byzantine era. So it's from that period. So you can see that chess in itself has evolved in so many ways.
Yeah.
But with all of these, what do you want?
Obviously, this version didn't catch on then. If you change it to a square one.
That's why he was looking at me. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I think it might have been, if you look at it, if you look at a square board, it simplifies it a bit. So a lot of games you find some of them have simplified, like the original square chess is simplified going down by 4 rooks. Give me that. So it's gone down by 4 pawns plus 4 other pieces. No, it's 2 different types.
I noticed one thing, the shape of it is the shape of the shield. The
Yeah.
shield.
Yeah.
That's what remembers what it looks like.
Actually, Dave, he's very good. Dave's giving a talk now, and he'll talk about the way different uses we have for things. Like we have kettle helms, and we use that to cook it as well. You know, a lot of stuff that you use, you might have even marked up a shield or marked up something with it, just to make it so that things had multiple uses. But you know, basically with the games, it's downtime. We're not fighting right now. Let's crack on and have a game and get competitive and keep the mind sharp.
Yeah, so with this, you'd be actually, these pawns will be going that way, these pawns will be going that way. So you're attacking on both sides.
Yeah.
Both sides.
Yeah,
That
so
way. What was the centre though, mainly? Just nothing, is it the centre?
The centre
part?
is just there. There's nothing goes in the centre. So it's basically, I think, well, you can't really take these right to the centre. But yeah, it's basically just.
Trying to advance your army on both sides, like the first one to take them out, like all of them.
Yeah, because if you do both sides, then you've got to think of both sides. Because you know, in a normal chessboard, you're just thinking in the centre, but here you've got to think in
Both
both.
sides.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was because it got too complex that it didn't take off, like, you know, when it changed to a square one.
Yeah,
Maybe
and there
simplified
could be
it.
regional things as well, because you'll find that that's like the name, this game, the game with no name. There are variations in different regions. There's smaller versions, there's longer versions. So that's not just the one version of it. That's part of the reason why nobody can actually pinpoint the name of the game.
It's like, I find the most plain, simple ideas, like these designs,
Yeah.
are more cooler and interesting to look at than the
Yeah.
complex ones.
Yeah.
Because the rules are still difficult. It's still going to be complex. They're not going to be just straightforward.
And the thing is if you've got 2 people playing these that are the same level, you will build up your level together.
Yeah, well,
You know.
I think if they made them too easy, the game would be over in 5 minutes, and then they'd be bored even more when they camp. So I think they made them as complex as possible
Yeah.
to drag it on through the night.
And there's hidden complexities with it, and that's the thing. And that's what makes them more interesting. That's going to be in the bottom of the bag,
Yeah.
anyway.
there you go.
Yeah. And as I say, you can see how simple that would be to carry in a pouch.
Looks like a draftsman, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just
And so Andy goes first, and because he's moved, I have to take his man. Anyway, because there's no space, but he has to take that one, even though he could have moved those forward. and now there's nothing I can take, so I have to decide what direction I'm going to go in that's the safest for me, and I like that move. So I've not opened anything up for him to take on that.
So you can't take from the sides, only in the middle, you're saying, really, you know?
Well, yeah, because you can only go along the lines, and so I've protected all my men from his men. So now he has to figure out where he wants to go from there and try and keep your men protected for as long as you can.
What do you call that game?
Alquerque.
Alquerque.
So it's Alquerque, Andy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Alquerque. Quereque.
That's a weird name, you spell them, don't they? Oh, don't make them easy like dragons.
Sounds like French.
Oh.
It's probably a is it? Oh, ale. You've run out
Not
of
British,
ale.
so it's not a British game then?
With a name like Alquerque, I'd say it's probably more continental than
Yeah,
British.
it is French.
Yeah, French.
Didn't British do any British ones at all, any British versions?
There would be,
Don't later
British
on then,
games.
probably.
because the thing is if you look at it like the game that have no name, that has multiple origins. That's why. So there would have been a British version, or probably a continental version, and like we know that Viking, Heftafel is Viking, but you've got to remember that Vikings came to Britain, and despite popular belief, they weren't just raping and pillaging, because they brought women and take his man there, and he can take my man, and then I have to take his man here. And he hasn't got prepared to take another man. But yeah, there's multiple variations on some games. You would find some of them are British. But we, in all honesty, are still learning the game. So when we see games, we grab them, we try to learn them, try and find out a bit more about them. Because we know that's basically what they would have done in the camps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The bigger arrows that are shooting for animals.
he has a habit of putting himself in my way so that I have to take his man and then me forgetting, and I'll take the risk. You go that way. See what he does. Thinking a long time.
On the march, you got all these feathers and they're like little pens. You cut a feather, it's hollow. You push it into the wool, over the barbs, and it extends over the barb. And then you pull it out. So when you faint, if you will, you get a feather and you burn it.
And that's one thing, if you can take two men, as long as you take one of them, you don't lose your man. I don't think it's playing to his full ability, so that it doesn't go too long for you.
What's the name of this group? Cosmeston.
It's the Cosmeston Manor Archers, yeah. Basically, we started at Cosmeston.
Yeah, they don't do any more down there, do they?
No, sadly not. It would have been nice if they did, but no, they don't.
I don't know why they
That's where
won't.
we met.
Yeah, I don't know why they won't really, because it used to be proper years ago. It'd bring more crowds of people, and that's what they want.
Yeah, I think we've been told Mill turned it into a wedding venue.
It was like Cardiff Castle.
It
no?
used to be absolutely packed.
Yeah.
On bank holiday weekends, it was packed. It's
This is what I said about Cardiff Castle. They used to do the jousting events, medieval events quite often. Now they stopped there. And they're doing cinema going concert shows instead there, which is ridiculous
Yeah.
because there's more money for them.
There's also less money on having people in. Well, I really buggered up there, didn't I? I did not do well then. Because he's also now going to take advantage of the fact that I'm talking to you.
Distraction techniques.
You go backwards, can you as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's when you get to that end line, you can't. I have a tendency of not taking my man over there because then I know I can't move them.
That's a clever version of Charles.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I like about it because I tend to keep my man as I'd more play a more defensive version and he plays a more aggressive
You know,
version.
it's like a trick game. So you think you're going forward, and you go double back and capture them.
But here, of course, he's got so he can take my man, but I've also stopped him from going forward. And they're stopping him from getting to there. But he's taking it easy on me this time because I am not playing my best today. But the rules are, as I say, they're slightly different. But there were games that we still play now that they play like Nine Man's Moss. It's got a lot of there's some very old origins with that. Again, you see he's a more aggressive player, I'm more a defensive player.
Never go in the battle. Stay in camp. Because if you try wielding this on the battlefield, you get killed straight away. Nobody really weapons on battlefield. Once it got down to fighting, it was very, very intimate, very close. So,
Now he's getting worried that it'll look like he's really bad because he's been easy on me so far.
Because if you stick this in the chest plate in the middle,
We need a chest timer.
That'd be, yeah, if you're doing it, put a timer to it, innit?
Yeah. Shocking. So yeah, I had no choice but to take his man then.
Then you force him to jump and then you jump them. That's what I would do with drafts.
Yeah, you can. Depends. Like you've got to be careful to do what I do and let him jump about 4 men at a time because I've forgotten that he can move about, which I have a tendency to do. So here, if I forced him to jump here, then yeah, I could take his man either way. So I'm going to do that. We'll see what happens if I do that. So he's going to take 2. So I wasn't watching where else he could go. And that's the thing, you've got to, when you force them to jump, you've got to be careful that you're making sure that they can't jump on from where you've gone. And that's the thing that I have a habit of forgetting.
Yes, the trick is to try and do something that your opponent's not going to expect you going to do.
Yeah. And to set them up the same way as you would in any other game, like noughts and crosses even. You set it up so that you can win because you've got 2 on one bit and 2 on another. So no matter where they put their cross, you win.
Is there the rules or instructions on the internet about how you play this game?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
You've got to type in that name.
Yeah. If you type that in, there's loads of rules on the internet on how to play it. And there's a bit of information about the history and everything as well. So Alquerque, if you want to look it up, so Alquerque.
Yeah.
So actually filmed it, or no videos on it, or just
There
pictures?
may be, but I haven't really looked at the videos. I sort of more do
So
read what it
hopefully
is.
this video, well, I'm filming now, will be the first one to do it then.
Possibly. You don't know.
No,
Well.
it might be.
Promote
It
it.
might be.
So we'll see if anyone who writes asking, what's this game? I'll just say it's the older version of drafts.
Yeah, because that's basically what it is. It's a forerunner of drafts.
It's much better though. You can really go front, back and everything without even getting conned.
Yeah.
There's a lot more thinking.
There is a lot more thinking to it.
It's similar to chess, you said,
Yeah.
but without all the fancy names.
It's because they're all strategical games, and that's the thing, because they're strategical games, and a lot of them designed that way because you use it in warfare. People who are in war to downtime and keep their minds sharp about what they've got to do.
You have to move out and help you could jump in it. Oh, yeah.
We put an Easter egg in the little thing in front.
I'm sure he's going to beat me because I'm not playing my best today.
A good archer was told to shoot 15 arrows a minute. Hit a very small target. And if you did that, the Lord of the Manor could retain you as an archer, and he'd give you his bows, and he'd feed you, give you a broom, give you a horse.
See, when you do go to the other end, it's always best to go into the corner because then you can't be jumped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then you're stuck and you can't move back then, you said?
Yeah, you can't move back once you've gone forward. But say if he moves this man next.
Which I'm not going to do because that's be one of the stupidest moves I ever could do.
that's right,
If I do that, I'll just give you 2 free men for
Oh,
nothing.
sorry about that. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Got one safe.
Yeah, it's got one save. Okay.
Prince looks up and said, I want to retain a personal bodyguard of archers who can see what I'm looking at. So he chose.
So now he can do that because I can't move that man out. So he
Is
is
that the aim of
free.
the game though, to try and get to the other side?
Yeah.
Yep,
Or
that
not?
is the aim of the game, yeah. Just to try and get to the other side.
And try and get more of your pieces over there than.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Otherwise you'd be back and forth, staying in the middle all day.
So I can go back there because he can't come back out and take 2 of my men. But it frees it up for him to go through.
Now the universal thing, when you
I don't think that was the best move I made then.
archers come up the road with the banners and everything.
And of course, because I moved there, you think, oh, we'll keep my men safe by going that way, but it won't actually, because I'm not allowed to move back to the next square that I was in. So I have to move something else.
You can just move forward now, because you can't jump here anyway.
See, I could move this one back,
Move that one, I'm about to there.
but if I move that one forward, he takes my man.
Jump that way, see?
Yep, because there's a line there, he can take that man. So I could move along this line and just play that game, but then it doesn't really give you any benefit. If I move this one forward, he's going to take me whichever way I go, and this one, he's going to take me there because he has to take me that one. I'm not technically stuck because I can move that one or that one, but that's the only choices I really have, and it's whether or not they're a wise choice. So I'm going to choose, I'm going to move that one.
We won't throw right through that here.
Let's see what it says.
Soup, leek and potato on my leaves.
So when you look at
I like minestrone, but not as much as leek and potato. I've heard of these.
Right. At this point, if I move this man, if I protect this man, I lose that man. If I move this man, he can still go back and take my man. So whichever way I go,
Give those to animals if they
I'm going to lose a man. Because, of course, if I take him that way, he's going to take him that way and then take that man as well. So again, it's looking at the strategy. So if I leave that there and move this, he's just going to go boom, 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 and I'm one man over. And he's won the game. Yeah. So I'm really stuck between a rock and a hard place right here. I'm going to lose a man no matter what I do. I'm going to lose a man.
except by very small children.
I think my only real choice here is to concede.
Oh, go on, let me
Can
take
you
your
just go up
pieces.
there?
Okay, I'll show you what happens if I go up there.
Oh, you can't go. I've got one move at a time, is it?
Yeah.
No, it's one move. Yeah. Look
Yeah.
at you, stuck anywhere where you go anyway.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I had a trapped.
He had me completely
That's right.
trapped. So no matter what I did, he had me. Because so if I then move this forward,
That
Yeah.
one there and that one
he
there.
and he's
Yeah.
got both.
Well, I can't do that. I can't do that one.
Oh, you can't do that one, yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
toast.
Yeah.
Clever.
I'm.